But it was cool.
Anyway, yeah.
Anyway, yeah.
I guess we can start the show.
We're already live. I'm just waiting for you guys to stop talking.
Oh.
Well, do it.
Well, what are your thoughts, Joel?
Yeah, man.
Joel ain't saying shit.
Oh, you didn't fall for it.
Joel did
I
not
knew
fall
what you were
for it.
doing. I'm like, oh, I knew what was going.
Can't
Joel
fool me
will
every
never-
time.
Shut up, Joel, and welcome to the weekly poll.
Oh.
The whiny.
Oh, funny.
Good news. I bought a pack in my game, guys, today. I got my Jessica Cruz to Legendary.
Oh. Nice.
So
Hells
anyway,
yeah.
welcome to the weekly poll. This is the weekly show that we hear the greatest, the bestest, the most amazing comic book podcast, the most amazing comic book YouTube channels come together to talk about your favorite comic book news, and we have good stuff to talk about. By our ruler and champion, Lord Sal of Comic Pop, bestows upon everyone else the ability to join them on this podcast. He runs the YouTube channel Comic Pop, the largest of all of us. Followed shortly after him is Joel from Cape to Joel. He reviews your weekly comic books and tells you what is going on in there while occasionally eating weird food that is from Canada.
Indeed. Which, that may sound like you're kind of passing the buck to me and sound like, hey, it's all them, everyone. It's all
All
them.
there
show.
every week. My cohort in crime and my getaway driver when I robbed the bank, Robert Jefferson, runs the channel Comics Explained. Together, we talk about comic books and he drives the getaway car. And I am Benny, the Comicstorian. I talk way too much and ramble and go on, and I act like I'm drunk at all times when I'm not.
Yeah, like we got busted once, and the cops were like, all right, like you have to go before the jury. And so they took us in front of the jury, and, they were like, what do you have to say for yourselves? And we just started explaining, like, Batman. And we went on talking about Batman for like 3 hours, and the jury's like, dude, if we get this guy out of here, just make him not guilty. Shit.
It's like
just
the
get this guy
Chewbacca
out of here.
defense.
Yeah. Just keep on going.
So that's pretty much it. And thank
It doesn't
you so
make
much.
any
We've got
sense.
multiple resubscribes.
Benny.
What?
Benny.
What?
What?
I was saying we got subs, Rob. We got subs.
Oh, do we?
Lots of
Do we have subs? Subby subs? We have subby subs? I really need a haircut. God, I'm looking at myself, and I'm just like, Jesus.
You know
No.
what you should do about your haircut? You should splooge about it on the subs.
Splooge my own haircut? Splooge! Rob's haircut. Yeah.
Well, he did what you asked.
Splooge.
Sometimes I
I
wonder.
splooge my own hair.
Sometimes I wonder about Rob. I don't know what Rob's doing.
I don't.
Anyway, just so you
I
guys
don't
know,
want-
those of you guys joining us for the first time or watching this on the YouTube, this show is entirely supported by the Twitch subscriptions that come across at the time that the show goes live. It is used to fund the individual who actually does the uploading and gets the audio for you guys and does all of that stuff. That is Danielle. So a big shout out to Danielle. She's doing a great job, and thank you to everyone who has helped funding the weekly poll moving forward. You guys have done a great job. All incredible.
Big thanks. Thank you, Saya, so much.
So this week in general is kind of a weird week. There's not anything crazy to talk about.
Yeah.
No, you're right. There's no like bombshells. Because it's a slow week. The comic news sites are all like, "Oh, nothing."
Yeah, the
So-
biggest thing, and it's made good headlines. And it's almost like DC was waiting, like, no one's talking. No one's talking. All right, we got Darkseid on the Justice League.
Darkseid who
It's like
stole
Rob.
Ronan the Accuser's coat.
Yeah, what?
Yeah.
Darkseid on the Justice League.
Come
It's
on,
gonna
okay,
turn
I'm
out.
not-
It's gonna turn out. It's not the true dark side. That's what's gonna happen.
it's his
Is this
son.
the baby Darkseid? What's going on with Darkseid now? Even it feels
He's
like I
already
haven't
done.
read about him.
He's in the Wonder Woman comic. Do you not read Wonder Woman?
Not
Yeah,
at the
he's in the
moment,
Wonder
I
Woman comic. He waged war against the gods. It's crazy.
Yeah. Tore
Not
down Zeus and
a baby.
everything, and now he's having a huge battle. He's fully restored now. He was basically absorbing the energy of the old gods.
Oh. Well, that sounds like something I should catch up on. Then.
It's actually really good too. It's when we discovered that Wonder Woman has a brother, and the brother was being used by Darkseid, and now they're like, it's a whole thing happening now. But the long story short is Darkseid's back to normal now, and he's building up. Basically, he's building up to fight the Justice League again.
Right.
So she was fighting him, and the Justice League showed up, and he's like, "Peace, bitches." Like left. I was like,
Is he classic Justice or Darkseid, or is he like New 52, like monosyllabic? Who cares? Dark-
I would say he's closer to the New 52 one, the one that we've had recently. Yeah.
okay. Because they need to fix that, like, toot sweet. Like, that Darkseid kind of sucks, and, you know, like, I mean, in Darkseid War, he's in it for, like, 2 pages, and then he dies.
Yeah, but the whole plot wasn't Darkseid, even though it was called Darkseid War.
Darkseid War, he fights the Anti-Monitor for, like, 3 pages, and then dies. Pass.
Anti-Monitor War wouldn't have sold near as well,
Exactly.
I don't think.
That's true.
Darkseid War.
Like, yeah, that's fair. That's fair. But yeah, so I guess we should just jump into it. We're going to talk about the Justice League and all the teams and I guess the creative teams are working on.
Have they announced anything other than the Darkseid, though?
Oh, you mean like who's on the team and if there's any like? I mean, we could talk about the fact that like the core team after all the Spectrum.
Oh no, okay, you're right. Basically, everyone freaked out about Darkseid, but all the teams have been talked about finally.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so what's going on is post Dark Knight's Metal, which ends tomorrow. I don't know when you're watching this. Anybody who's on home or listening to this, it ends tomorrow. And the event coming out of it is going to be known as Justice League No Justice, another Scott Snyder headed event. And it's going to be 4 different Justice League teams. Now they're not teasing it anymore. We have the official full teams. So we're going to have Snyder's Justice League, Tinnon's Justice League Dark is returning, Josh Williamson's Justice League Odyssey, Dan Abnett's Titans, and Adam Glass's Teen Titans.
Yes.
And it's a storyline that's going to be going on from June onward, okay? One of the teams
That's cool, I guess.
Well, this one's cool. It shows the Flash. Everyone's in a Flash costume.
Yes.
Yep.
It's bizarre.
I'm going to link this to you, Rob.
I wish they had a league composed entirely of like the Shazam family. That would have been awesome.
That'd be fun.
So the first image on here is what's funny is so Robin got Flash themed boots. Cyborg's gone all red. Adam's gone all red. Harley Quinn's like, I got it close enough.
Yeah, and it looks like she has like a cosmic hammer, which looks awesome.
That's cool. Hopefully she'll keep it, and then she can be like scary and formidable when she actually comes. Because like whenever Harley's on the Suicide Squad and they're facing anybody above Captain Boomerang, I know he's on the team. I'm just making a point. But like anytime she's facing anybody, she's like, "And I'll get my hammer," and you're like, "Yeah." Everybody has to stretch to make you actually work on this team. So to give her actually like something powerful or to make her a formidable like adversary would be cool, or at least make her like on the same tier as like the Enchantress or something.
Dude, I was thinking about that. Dude, I was reading the Damage story, and like Damage fights Justice League XL or Suicide Squad XL or whatever it is, Task Force XL, and like Harley, like okay, so you got like Solomon Grundy, and like a Kondo, whatever it is. He's just one of the guys that can tap into the red, and then like these powerhouse characters, and then Harley Quinn with a mallet, and I'm like, so what is she gonna do?
Real quick, because the chat's like, these are announced. Yeah, these were announced months ago, yes. But they were not named. We did not know the creative teams, and we didn't know any information on them. Things like Darkseid being revealed, that is new. And what I just linked you guys is the article from March 26th. So this is the new lineup. This is like
yesterday.
Yeah, this is yesterday. This is while I know we heard about No Justice a while ago, we didn't know about No Justice. It was just like, here's the teams, and you're like, the teams to what?
Right. All we knew was they were color coded. That's it.
They were color.
Yeah. It's funny for Justice League Dark. It's very clear. Okay, Wonder Woman's the leader of this one. Then for Odyssey, it gets a little bit more complicated because it's like, well, I guess Cyborg is the lead guy on here, but Starfire arguably has spent more time leading her Titans team. And oh look, and now there's Darkseid. Wait, who's calling the shots on this one?
Right? Is there like because there's a lot of speculation about this team. Why are they being formed? Who's leading it? Like who came up with this idea in the first place? You know, there's
have you seen the Justice League Dark promo image?
Yeah,
it's a little ways down. I like how they're all color coded. So we got them all in purple on this one.
Right.
Oh, I can tell you who's leading it. Who's the one guy you don't see on all these Justice League teams?
Brainiac.
Batman.
Batman's on the big
Luthor one, on the anti-hero one.
No, he's not on any of them.
But we see a shot of him hanging out with Lex Luthor and Deathstroke and Lobo.
No, he's not on any of these, Joel.
Fair enough, then, I guess.
All right.
Yeah. My God, man.
No, he's on Snyder's Justice League, Rob.
No, he's not on it. Not on any of the pictures that I see.
No, the
If
ones
he's
that
not
are,
in the picture, then like he's not there.
the ones that are pictured are Justice League Dark, Justice League Odyssey, Titans, and Teen Titans. They don't have the Scott Snyder team over here.
No, there's no. I mean, dude, if it's not in the picture, then it's not happening.
Right.
Rob, did you forget what we talked about 2 weeks ago on the podcast when they announced Snyder's team?
Yeah. I was like,
I
no,
don't see
I
it.
said it out loud.
Snyder's
No,
team has Batman.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
And also too, Benny as a Green
Yeah,
Lantern
of course it does.
Snyder's team,
having Batman?
Snyder's
Yeah.
team, which is so I guess Batman is off doing something right during the No Justice, but no, I know the Hall of his Snyder's team starts in June with the rest of this.
Yes.
Oh.
And he's bringing back the Hall of Justice. That
So
was
in
the new thing
Snyder's
today.
team, that's the one with Hawkgirl, Green Lantern, Wonder Woman, Batman, Superman, Flash, Martian Manhunter, Cyborg, and so it seems like this team just won't be involved in No Justice for the most part.
Yeah, it looks like they're literally just rebuilding the Hall of Justice. That's cool. They're bringing the Hall of
It
Justice
is.
back.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
I mean, it's been a while.
I mean, Avengers brought back the mansion, so what's the DC equivalent of
Yeah,
that?
they-
We'll bring back the Hall.
They brought back that mansion in friggin' heroic age. That mansion's been back for like 15 years.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
it's been like a hotel and some shit. Like they actually.
Well,
they're
that's
running
because
shit
nobody's
up.
ever living in it at any point. It's just a bunch of bullshit.
No Justice, Batman. I'm trying to see.
Did people live at the Hall of Justice?
From
or
what
did people
I
just hang out there?
understand, No Justice is going to lead into his team, even if they're coming together
Yeah.
at the same time. So then, what? Rob's right. I know we saw Batman, but why isn't he in
We
these
did.
promo images?
Yeah, I don't know.
There
I
it
saw-
is.
we saw
No,
him
I
in-
told you.
It's
I
here.
told you I'm right, but you guys wanted to argue with me, and
No, you're not right. Here it is.
I found.
Jesus.
It's not on the article I linked. It's another article. It's Batman, Deathstroke,
Yeah, it's-
Beast Boy. Who the fuck is that? It looks like
Yeah,
Cyborg.
it's actually, dude, it's actually a pretty stacked ass team, is what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This team is stacked all to hell.
There it is. There it is.
I mean,
Oh, it's Lex. Yeah, you're right. It's Lex. It's Lex Batman. Here, I'll link this new one to the chat so they can see it.
And Beast Boy, for some reason, is on Team
Yeah.
Antihero.
and Beast Boy, why not? Whatever.
And I guess it's the new. Okay, so maybe it's like a new Justice League they're forming, the one that's being drawn by Jim Chung, because you got Superman, Batman, Martian Manhunter, Wonder Woman, Hawkgirl, Flash, which I assume is Barry Allen, and John Stewart, the Green Lantern.
It would be cool if it wasn't Barry Allen.
Ooh, yeah.
If,
just got
like,
all
if-
that Flash War stuff.
You got the Flash War going on. You got multiple Flashes. It'd be great to have like, if you wanted to do it, it's like, hey, listen, there's multiple Flashes. Wally West is on the team that's modeled after the cartoon show, which also starred Wally West. We're doing a lot of fan service with these teams. Why don't we just put the Wally fan service character on the fan service Justice League, and then we can use Barry in another capacity.
Now,
I like it.
Shit.
Taking
Hold
out
on,
like
hold
a
on, hold on.
what do you got?
Okay, so I'm sorry. In this Newsarama interview, they asked the question about the JSA and the Shazam family.
Yes.
And like they were like, no, we're not doing anything with that. That's tied into what Jeff Johns is doing with Doomsday Clock.
Interesting.
Yes.
So I guess he's going to bring back. I know he's bringing back the JSA because we had Johnny Thunder, but I assume that like he's going to bring back the Shazam family and Doomsday Clock. Holy shit, dude! That would be so beast. Oh man, that dude.
Okay,
no, no,
hold on.
No.
Tied
No,
into
dude,
does not
imagine
mean
this.
they're going to bring him back.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. Imagine this, man. All right, everybody on Twitch right now. All right, imagine this. Let your imaginations run free. That like Dr. Manhattan and Superman just like it starts to get into a fight, and like Superman's kind of holding his own, but not really. Like Manhattan's just kind of leading him into believing that like he has a chance, you know. And like Superman's basically defeated, and maybe some members of the other Justice League come in and try to help, whatever. And then you just see like Shazam, and then like Shazam just comes flying in and probably gets the hell beat out of him too. But it would be cool. Like it'd be
Yeah.
awesome to
Well,
see
we
him
already know
show
you're
up.
wrong, so.
Well,
It'd be
yeah.
like an inverted Kingdom
They've
Come.
already said they're not going to fight.
That's exactly what it would be, an inverted Kingdom Come. No, I know they're going to fight, but Superman's
No,
going to
they've
lose.
already said they won't fight.
Oh, I thought he said they were. I know he said he's going to have a conversation.
No,
but I thought they
he
were
said
also
that
going to
Superman
fight.
and Dr. Manhattan, he does not want them fighting on his script.
Oh,
No,
I mean, I
now,
kinda
for the
want
record, that
fight.
doesn't mean they won't, but
But he doesn't want it to happen.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think they'll talk first and then fight later.
hey, how's it
Right.
going? You're big and blue. Oh, yeah, and you're wearing blue. Aha, I see what you did there.
Well, you know, we have a difference of opinion, Superman, so I guess we got to settle this like men, and then they just start fighting. You know,
yeah,
that'd be awesome.
I
Kick
don't
your
know.
ass at Nintendo.
I feel like if you're going to see a Dr. Manhattan Superman fight, it'll be like in another story after Doomsday Clock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I think we will get like a Justice League versus the Watchmen story.
Oh yeah.
Like we got Justice League versus Suicide Squad.
That's
Like,
gonna
I-
bring money.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Why
So
blow their
let's-
wad now when they could make all the money?
Well, especially
Now,
since they could have blown their wad like a couple of years ago, but they've just been delaying it further and further and getting more money out of it. Like, no, if the DC reading audiences at large are willing to give us another year of speculation and wonder, let's just fill that with something else. Like,
Yeah.
Justice League versus Watchmen can never happen, and we'll just tease it, just like the Justice Society is seemingly never going to come out until Jeff Johns says so, and like everyone is just going to, oh, I think this is it. I think this is when they show up. It's like, yo, Jeff Johns is writing that. It's never going to come out until he says it.
And the
Well,
three
again,
Jokers.
you
will
know,
keep
I was
milking
thinking
that
about
too.
this actually.
Yeah, three Jokers.
Well, I did
Yeah.
that. I was thinking about that. So DC Rebirth, I feel, was the biggest ploy DC's ever put out.
Totally.
In many ways, yeah.
So I
Yeah,
love DC
since
Rebirth.
Crisis
Everyone
on
knows that I'm a
Infinite
DC fan. I love Marvel. I love comic books, but I loved DC Rebirth. I was a huge advocate for DC Rebirth. I feel like what they did with DC Rebirth is they sat down and they're like, Josh Williamson, what do you want to do? And he's like, I want to bring back Flash. I want to bring back Waller. I'm like, we're doing that, okay? And they're like, okay, what do you want to do over there, Dan Abnett? Oh, I want to bring Aquaman back to go do this whole thing, you know? And they're like, oh,
Yeah.
we're doing that. And they're like, Jeff Johns, what do you want to do? And he's like, wouldn't it be cool if there's 3 Jokers and I'll do the Dr. Manhattan thing? They're like, we're doing that. But what I think it is they threw all these ideas into a pot with an outline as to what should happen. And it was a very much of a, we'll get to it whenever you're ready to tell your story, but we're going to hint at it. And I feel like Jeff Johns took on too much.
I mean, that's definitely evident in the delays that Doomsday Clock is suffering and will continue to suffer, and how much hinges on it.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Well, I mean, look at other things.
yeah.
The 3 Jokers thing. How many times have we been told the next arc will handle it? Jeff Johns is going to handle it. The next arc is going to handle it. Jeff Johns is going to handle it. Everyone likes to go, well, Tom King said that that's Jeff Johns' thing, and you're right. But you can also find tweets where Tom King is like, I got it in the next arc. And then they're like, War of Jokes and Riddles.
Right. And it's like, that was not 3 Jokers. I don't know what
That was literally nothing.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. All right, for me, I think the most impressive thing so far is Blazin Bish Slap Seraph. 2 people, 2 individuals who have graced us. And Don, with some numbers after his name, who have graced us with some resubs, some subscriptions. I think what we need to see coming out of DC Rebirth right now is a splooge, and a second splooge, and a third splooge. I think that's what we need. Some splooges.
Fair.
Who doesn't want?
That one makes me
who
feel
doesn't want
weird,
more
Rob.
splooges? Thank you.
No.
Some splooges.
The fact is, the DC Dark Knight's Metal, as much fun as it has been, was the perfect time for 3 Jokers to be answered.
Oh, yeah.
It was the perfect time. And we didn't answer it, and we didn't seem to care. And we even had Snyder on it. Of all the Batman writers to tell a creepy 3 Jokers storyline, we had Scott Snyder.
Joker showed up and disappeared.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. He
He's
showed up and disappeared.
He's in the casting. The end.
And what that makes me think is that, I mean, maybe I might be wrong, but I just feel like they didn't plan it out as well as we thought. There was a general idea and they kept to that, but some of the more crazy ideas that you're like, well, we got to make it good. Like, it has to be good when it comes out.
Right. Or at the very least, like, well, wait. If in order for me to get what I want to do, you can't do that. Like, I think you're absolutely right. I think DC Rebirth was... I think we all thought that there was a really big plan. And I think we got the rug pulled out from under us again. Like New 52, where they're like, oh, reboot. Oh, yeah? What's the plan? We don't have one. F you. The end.
F you, the end.
I mean,
damn it, they done hornswoggled us again.
Yeah. And then, like, we're like Rob and Destiny, where we're like, oh, you want to reboot again? This time you totally planned it out. We're in. And they were like, nah, man, sorry. It's more Batman.
More Batman.
We're gonna take all of our best ideas and then we're gonna throw them away, and then we're just gonna give you garbage. That's dead.
I mean, there's a lot of great things.
Bungle.
DC Rebirth is great. A lot of our favorite things with our most popular characters are happening and have happened. But if it was as well clocked out, if it was well like timed and planned out the way that we imagine like a watchmaker to have set everything up to be, if that was true, then things wouldn't nearly be as tumultuous as they appear. The fact that people think that Bendis was going to reboot Superman and get rid of Jonathan Kent is the perfect example of us being like, oh, nobody knows what's happening. Like, the fact that people were like, oh no, Bendis is going to take over Superman, he's going to reboot it. I'm like, where did you get that idea? Like, what about any of this suggests that?
Bendis said it.
Bendis did not say that. Bendis didn't say he was going to reboot it. He just said he was going to take over the book and they were going to renumber the series.
No.
Yeah,
Did
but
you
like
miss his
it's
interview?
Brian Michael Bendis.
Yeah,
He's a
I
reboot.
didn't. I saw his tweet where like recently where he was like,
there's a whole
it's
video
all
on the
bullshit.
DC channel. He did like a 5-minute thing about his plans. The whole thing's going to be about Metropolis. He's going to bring up an entire supporting cast in the Daily Planet.
Yeah.
He wants to know
Yeah,
why there's
but-
only 4 people working there. He's got plans for Superman, and he's going to kind of take it all back to its roots. And
Right, but he's not going to throw everything that was written about Superman over the last 2 years in the garbage.
but it's Bendis.
It's Bendis in as much as he's
Hope to
going
God
to
he
do what he
doesn't.
wants. But it's not like you're going to read Superman or Action Comics 1000 or Superman whatever #1, and Lois and Clark are not married and there's no kid anymore.
Could you, after Reborn was 2 years ago, or a year ago, could you imagine that?
That's
People
what I'm saying.
would
I'm saying
riot.
people
I would
are really
riot.
but people expected that to happen. People are like, oh yeah, that's going to be a reboot. And I'm like, yo, no. But my point isn't even about Superman rebooting. It's just like, nobody knows what DC is going to do, and I don't think DC knows what they're going to do next year. And so I don't think it was as meticulously planned as we all expected it to be. I mean, like,
Makes me sad.
yeah,
Heck, even-
it's too bad.
I mean, it brings us
Even
back
with
to the topic on hand, the Justice League. I mean, these 4
Right.
Justice Leagues headlined by Scott Snyder does not sound like anything that was in the Rebirth original timeline. And
No way.
the fact that originally we were told Doomsday Clock was going to wrap up in a year and all the timelines would converge with this, and now Doomsday Clock is delayed by another year, basically.
Yeah.
Which means they might have to run in place or even be like, okay, in case of emergency, break glass for some stories till we're done.
Exactly.
They literally just did that. I mean, like, and there. It seems like for me, it seems like Metal, JLA versus Suicide Squad, a couple of these major, huge tentpole stories that are like the pillars of DC Rebirth were just pitches that these really good writers wanted to do in the first place. They had no part in the overall big scheme that was DC Rebirth. They just came up with the name first. This is basically Marvel Legacy, but they came up with a better name and they did a better execution in the first couple of minutes or in the first couple of issues.
Well, now, for the record, I will say this. I currently have no problems with what DC Rebirth has done.
no,
Good
I love it. I'm enjoying the shit out of it.
Same.
But it's almost over.
Yeah.
And now it's like, what are they going to do next, though?
So, okay, here's a question. With the Justice League No Justice, I've been hearing no justice, no justice, no justice. Are we getting 4 Justice League books?
I
Or
think
is it
some
all
of
in
these
one?
might be a mini,
No.
but they haven't said yet.
Unless it's said in the opposite in the article, I think No Justice will have 4 or 5 Justice Leagues in the story, but there'll only be 1 Justice League book.
Okay.
Right.
I could see it being like a main Justice League, and the rest are just like maxi series or like miniseries tie-ins or something like that.
Yeah.
Like I would do maxi series, to be honest, just 12 issues each. Like that's what I would do. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
I thought I
Justice
heard
League Dark.
Diggy thrown
I'm
around.
so happy they're bringing back Justice League Dark. It's not going to be Justice League Dark in any way, shape, or sense of the word.
Constantine's not even on the team?
No, he's not. Although James Tynion said he is going to play a big part in the story, though.
Well, then he should be on the freaking team then.
So basically, it's going to be like how they use him in the CW shows. Hey,
Exactly.
Guess what
Heyo.
show Matt Ryan's on this year?
As a regular, they like officially put him on. It's like, yeah, you're on the show.
Took you long enough.
Wait, he's
That's
a
like-
regular? What is he a regular on? I heard he was going to cross over again.
Season 4 of Legends, if they get a season 4 of Legends, he's going to be a regular now. And he's playing a huge part in the storyline this season.
Yeah. It would be like saying, okay, well, Batman's not on the Justice League, but he will be appearing in every issue.
Yeah. It's so hilarious too because it took them so long on the CW to even explain Constantine's origin because they just assumed you saw his canceled show. So it was only this or like last week on Legends, or they're like, oh yeah, he's a Cockney wizard there from Liverpool. This girl Astra lost her soul and he feels really bad about it. Like they're doing a walk and talk and they give Constantine's origin as they're walking and talking.
I mean, that's fine.
I'm
I'll take
actually
that.
surprised CW never grabbed the Constantine show and just re-aired it.
That's such a good idea. Like, and you know when you do that, by the way, because there's only how many episodes of that show actually
13.
managed it? 13. Holy shit. Okay. Well, you know what you do then? You literally you Sharon Carter that shit. Like when Legends takes the break or the hiatus, then you air the 13 episodes of Constantine, and then you come back to the rest of it, and then you come back to the next season. I mean, like
no one watched it.
No one was watching NBC looking for a wizard show.
I watched it Friday nights at 10 because I had nothing better to do.
I'm very busy Friday nights at 10. I was not watching the Constantine show. Although I will say I did watch the first half of the episode and went, okay, well, this is going to get canceled. Click.
The saddest thing about Constantine is that by the time he made it to the air, Supernatural and all these other paranormal detective shows had already come and gone, and also taken so much from the Hellblazer comic that by the time he made it to TV, it was the John Carter thing where it's like, oh, well, you're not special because everyone's been copying your homework all these years.
Hey, Supernatural's not come and gone. That shit's still going.
I know it is.
That like its relevance is coming.
No, it's not. Supernatural is the best Supernatural style show out there right now. I was just watching one of the episodes.
They're getting a Scooby-Doo crossover.
They do a Scooby-Doo crossover. I just watched an episode where they had to find a holy man's blood. That was fun. We had to go fight the mafia. That was good.
Okay, you're a Supernatural fan. What seasons can I skip if I want to get into Supernatural?
Oh, okay. So after 5, skip till about 13.
Yeah, that's more than half of the show.
It's not bad. The show's not bad, but
no. I know other Supernatural fans, and they tell me the exact same thing.
Yeah, it's about 13.
If I have to skip any seasons, it's not a good show.
No, okay. Real quick sidebar. In the defense of Supernatural, it is quite obvious that show was supposed to end at season 5. And
That's what I heard.
It was quite obvious that for season 6, 7, and 8, they were spinning their wheels with no idea. But by the time 9 rolled around, we started to get back on track. And by the time you get up to like 11, 12, it starts to get really interesting with the God stuff. And then,
It's almost like they expected to be canceled. Like, they're like, okay, we wrapped up. And then season 6, they're like, okay, well, this one will get canceled. And then the 7th one, they were like, okay, well, this one we're going to get canceled. And then by 8, they went, they're never going to cancel. Let's come up with an idea.
That's exactly what it's exact. Because I think 5 ends with heaven versus hell, and they got to trap the devil back in the cell, and yada yada yada.
Yeah.
And the overall plot that they've been building up for 5 years is finally wrapped up. And then they're like 6 rolled around. And you're like, what the hell are they going to fight next? And like, well, there's these things called these Leviathans, and they're between the worlds. And you're like, oh, okay. And we fight those for like a season or 2, and then it's just kind of like, well, what are we gonna do now? And I think Dean lost his soul, and then Sam lost his soul, and then they both lost their soul.
Sounds riveting.
Yeah. I mean, listen, I don't disparage anybody for liking a show. I hear you, but I think getting on the ground floor for Supernatural now might be folly. I might wait a little bit.
No. Okay, Sal. I want to hear. You and I should start a side podcast. Sal finally explores
watches Supernatural.
And what we'll do is you'll watch 3 episodes a week, and we'll catch you up.
Right.
By the time the show ends at episode 300, which is middle of the season next season, because it's already renewed for next season to finish.
No.
Of course it is.
Fair enough.
They said that at 300 they're going to end it. So if you watch 3 a week and we have a podcast about it.
Right, we'll catch up.
We'll catch up, and we'll get your opinions of Supernatural up to the ending.
I don't want to watch that show. That's like it's like Stargate all over again, because that show was supposed to stop, and they wouldn't let it die.
There's probably shows you want to watch that you can't watch 3 a week.
Exactly. Like I got my
the funny part would be
loaded.
I got a feeling the funniest part would be to see your reactions as you go through the seasons. Like, this is great. This is amazing. What the fuck are they thinking? What is happening? Oh, I like this part.
Yeah, exactly. No, I don't. You know what? My defense is always like, I don't have enough room in my heart and in my head for another universe.
Another fan.
Like I have so many universes that I've like already committed to memory. Like I don't want to get into another one. I haven't finished watching Punisher.
Yeah, I haven't finished that one either.
I gotta watch Punisher. I want a Punisher show. They finished filming season 2. I haven't finished. I've finished watching the last half of the pilot. I am like the most remiss comic book fan. And Jessica Jones came out. I'm like, it's out. I haven't finished Punisher yet. You want me to watch Supernatural?
Jessica Jones was real good. It's still probably the best paced Marvel show.
Well, great. I don't know when I'm gonna watch it. I should. Every episode of a show I make is an hour long. Do you understand how many hours that is shooting and editing?
A lot.
Unless I'm like doing an episode that's going to be 2 hours long about the Punisher, I don't have time to watch it.
At this point, the only way you're going to catch up is if you have a really long plane ride or like go to jail for a couple years.
Yeah, right.
No, I know what you. Here's the trick to catching up, Sal. Make yourself another show to edit, but you discuss the episode
about that show. Yeah. Except now it's too late. No one's going to watch a show where I just watch the Punisher, unless I like stream it. Or it's just me watching The Punisher. But that's just Rob when he was watching all of Daredevil season 1. It's just
yeah. And we pop in occasionally.
I think Rob's muted.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
No, I'm not muted.
Oh, you spoke and we couldn't hear you.
Mm-hmm. No, I can hear you guys fine.
So anyway, back to the Justice League, because that was a hell of a tangent.
Yeah.
I like that Azrael is on the space
real
team.
quick fix, though. Sal, what mic are you on right now?
I'm on a Yeti.
Because it's super echoey. Like, it sounds like you're on a webcam, which I know I am talking to you guys, but they're hearing me on the XLR.
It might be.
Yeah, Sal sounds fine to me. He doesn't.
Well, no, I was
anything
gonna say
to do,
overall you're fine, but there's a few times that you were like really excited, and it was like. That's all. That's the only reason I'm asking. Otherwise, I wouldn't have mentioned anything.
Hey, I got a quick question, man. You had to sign a contract for your internet with Comcast?
Yes, Rob. Let's talk about our business contracts on the.
No, I'm just curious. It's just a quick question that I had.
Yes, you do for business.
It's like a yes or. Fuck.
That's how they get you.
Rick Caesar's right. Rob is grumpy because when you give Rob a contract, he gets grumpy.
No, Rob does not sign. This is not 2007. Rob does not sign contracts anymore.
Right? Those days are over.
Yeah. That's ridiculous.
My mic should be better, by the way. I switched it to the Yeti.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, now you sound good. It wasn't a problem. I know I'm on the webcam talking to you guys. It's just when it started to peak, I was like, oh, wait, what is he on? You know?
No, so I had the headphones on for nothing. I was literally just like, I didn't have it queued with the Skype.
Okay. Well, anyway, so back to the Justice League. So we all think it's going to be, so you think it's going to be one Justice League book that's ongoing and then 2 maxis, Rob?
I could see it being. I could see the Justice League title as it exists now continuing on. The rosters will shift. Like the current Justice League title will segue into what this No Justice happens, because right now, like Justice Lost is like the Justice League's basically disbanding. They're all going in their own separate ways. So I mean, like Priest Run will probably run into the new Justice League book. That'll be like the main story. And then you'll just start seeing members of the other Justice League teams coming in and out. And like again, I would do maxi series. Like that's what I would do. I would do 12 issues for each Justice League team, and their stories, see them intertwining with each other in the main Justice League book. To me, it's the smart thing to do, because what you get is you get enough of the solo books for these individual teams that like you don't feel like it's rushed. The writers can expand and build on them. At the same time, you get a main story. So it's like a more contained and more controlled version of the running awry crossovers that Marvel does. So
I think they have to do it that way too, or else heroes are going to start double dipping and pulling double, triple duty on multiple books, and that's going to get really confusing.
The only thing that I say against what you're saying, Rob, is if this happens, it'll be the first time that the Justice League book is actually reflected in the universe of DC at the moment.
That would be great.
Yeah,
I mean, it's been 5 years.
True.
That's it. Exactly, Joel. It's only been 5 years that the books have all ignored Justice League.
Yeah. Well, and thank God they have, because the book wasn't very good for 5 years.
Yeah, agreed.
It's
hey,
like,
the Jeff Johns run wasn't bad.
Oh yeah, no, it was fun to read, but it was also like, man, don't open your new Justice League with Darkseid.
Yeah.
I mean, it was pretty brazen to come out, but I enjoyed the Brian Hitch run. I think Christopher Priest's run is a little more enjoyable, but I enjoy the
it's very
Brian Hitch run.
different.
the issue with the Christopher Priest run is it feels so uncharacteristic for the Justice League.
It really is.
Like,
it's an Avengers story, but with the Justice
It
League.
is.
Yeah,
It's like Thor, or not Thor. Shit. Aquaman undercover is like a bus driver.
Yeah.
You know, and it's
They love
just weird
costumes
stuff
in
like
that
that.
run. Everyone dresses up
they
in
do.
costumes.
And it's like, why is the Justice League undercover? Why don't they just like smash in with stuff? And like Cyborg keeps calling Batman boss, and it's like, all right, man, this is kind of weird. But I do enjoy the story. The actual content of the story is pretty cool.
I'm liking the overall Christopher Priest run better than Hitch. I do like Hitch once it was done, and you saw how everything connected.
The best part of Brian Hitch's run was when it was finished.
No, I'm saying because
Jesus,
going through it as it came out, you looked at Brian Hitch's run and you were like, what the fuck is he doing? None of this makes any sense. And when it finally finished and you were like, that's how it all comes together, that's how it made sense. You know, because they were hyping up to this big bad. And you're like, what is the big bad? What the fuck are you doing?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like, listen, here's the thing about this idea. It's Scott Snyder's, so, you know, it'll meander and probably have an ultimately unsatisfying ending. However, it will be really cool looking, and it will segue into a book that I really want to read. I'm more excited about reading this roster of Justice League than any over the last 5 years. And so, and I feel like because No Justice is like a self-contained story, that's why I'm like, I don't really care about that. I'm really more interested in seeing the ongoing adventures of the Justice League because that's where they flourish. Like Grant Morrison's run, the cartoon. These are the two like a fan favorite, top tier A-team Justice League series. I want to read that.
Okay, let me ask you guys
be
this. Why the hell has DC never made a book about the TV show Justice League?
Right? Do you mean like
it's not the original? I mean, sure, but it's not the original Justice League. Like
No,
the
you're
TV show
right.
Justice League was cool,
Yeah.
but it's not the standard lineup of the league.
What is
you're
the
right,
standard
but in
lineup of the league?
2004
When it
ended.
started, Superman and Batman were not on the team.
True.
For one of
That's
the
true.
longest run of Justice League, Superman, like Batman, was like a babysitter. Martian Manhunter was the leader of the team, and the main characters were Blue Beetle and Booster Gold. Like, there is no definitive roster. There's just the one you think the one you've been incepted. Like, you're like, right, the Justice League, Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman. That's the Trinity. The Justice League has notoriously and for a long time sucked.
Yeah,
and
They
didn't
hung out.
have-
They hung out in Detroit for a bit in a warehouse for a
No,
couple
I mean
years.
you had so you had the original you're right. I mean you had the original Justice League from 1960, and Batman and Superman were not consistently a part of it. That is true.
No.
But in 1998, Grant Morrison brought the Justice League back, and like it was the lineup of the Justice League. It was basically 1960 Justice League with Batman and Superman there full time.
No,
So,
I agree with
mean,
that, but my question is, I mean, this is arguable, but the Justice League Unlimited and Justice League cartoon show is the most recognizable lineup because of how popular that show is, and it created Justice League fans out of many individuals of that day and age. So what I'm
it's really
wondering
DC
is,
fans.
well, what I'm saying is, why did it take almost 15 years for DC to be like, here's a book with that
Let's
team?
just do that.
Even Marvel,
I don't know.
Even Marvel, when the Avengers movie came out, gave us an out-of-continuity Avengers Assemble book that featured that lineup.
Yeah, and they also worked
also fought
really
Thanos.
hard. Yeah, but they also really worked hard to morph the roster into the movie team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, they did.
the first Avengers movie came out, they went, all right, well, get Luke Cage and all the other people out of here. Let's put the original. Let's put
No,
the
okay.
movie.
First of all, I liked Luke Cage's Mighty
Hey, yo.
Avengers.
I'm
That was
pissed they
fun.
changed that. When Vision shows up in my Bendis Avengers team, I went, here's the end.
Yeah.
This is the end.
Here's
of my
the
interest.
end.
Here's
Yeah,
the end of my
Vision-
interest in the Avengers because
The Vision
the
points teams that are going to die.
Vision represented for me a huge step back in the change and the evolution of the Avengers. I loved the idea of the Avengers basically being a bunch of people who can't shoot a laser beam. It's just all people who would rather wear jeans. It's just like Luke Cage, Jessica Jones, Spider-Man, Doctor Strange, and Ronin, Hawkeye, Spider-Woman. Just a bunch of people who the most powerful member of the team is a person who if he gets punched too hard needs intravenous surgery. I love that team. It completely grounded the team for me. And the second they put on a freaking soulless, robot who just wants to be loved. I was like, oh, I don't care about this anymore. It's going back to the old days. Like, it's going back. Because, once you put Vision on the team, Vision's not going to mesh well with Luke Cage and Jessica Jones. He can't relate to these people.
Yeah.
And, I mean, like, it took Tom King to make Vision, for me, interesting and relatable.
Same.
But that wasn't the Vision that they put on that team. And so they changed the Avengers roster to reflect the movies. And that's, I mean, like, you're right, Marvel at least listened. But for me, that sucks. I also hate when movies do. I hate when the studios go like, "Ooh, the movie's doing that. Make it like the movie. Change the comic to make it like the movie."
I mean,
yeah,
I kind of get that. I kind of get that. But like, okay, so if I'm going to be honest though, like my two favorite members are probably
Oh jeez.
Every time.
insane, and Caleb Xavier Splooch.
Oh, he's pulling out the finger guns.
No, I don't know. I mean, that is something that is kind of interesting. Like it does kind of take away from like the organic nature of the comic. Oh wow, we got another one.
Uh-oh.
Obel,
Got another one, yeah.
Oh, Bell.
Obel, OBEL. Got a bunch of words, letters,
A bunch of
words and names. What do they mean?
Rob, it's Obel Lust Beard.
Splooge. What Benny said. Huge. No, I don't know. I mean, it does kind of take away from the organic nature. But be that as it may. No, I am really kind of curious because this is okay. So like imagine 1987, Justice League International kicks off, whenever it was.
Yes.
All right. This feels like it is Justice League International spread over 5 books.
Mm.
And like this is basically going to take like all these versions of the Justice League and then just start like sifting them out and consolidating them down into like a singular Justice League team going forward. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I honestly I want to counter that. I think that this is just them going. What has everyone that by and large everybody has always wanted to see on the Justice League.
Yeah.
And it was like a team of 30
I know. You want Green Arrow back. It ain't ever going to freaking happen. He even got offered a spot, Joel, and he said, fuck it.
Yeah.
One of these days, he's going to be on the team. You'll see.
They offered it to him in his book. And he was like, how about I'm a Black Ops member?
I know.
Honestly, I feel like they went, what's the buzz? What does everybody want? They had a team of 30 names. They went, split them up into 5 teams and make 5 books and see what
That's
happens.
about right.
See what sells
it's
the
quite
best.
obviously a way to see if people are interested in these other heroes.
Yeah.
100% is.
The timing is hilarious, too, that DC's like, hey, we're going to diversify our Justice League teams. We got a magic one, a street-level one. We got all these different ones for all these different tastes. Meanwhile, at Marvel, they're like, oh, wow, we got to get rid of all our excess Avengers teams, and we got to consolidate into one.
Thank God, by the way, because, like, you know what was really hurting the brand? 5 Avengers teams.
No, you know what was hurting the brand? And this is legit how I feel.
Right on,
5
okay.
Avengers teams, one of which featured no core members of the Avengers. One of which was a bunch of hack wannabe Avengers, like Tony Ho, the General Red Hulk.
Oh, you're talking
General,
about the US
General,
Avengers.
not Thunderbolt Ross.
Yeah, what the crap? I fall off for a little bit. Then they show me a guy who looks exactly like General Ross as
But
Red
isn't.
Hulk, but it isn't either of them. I'm like, pass.
Yeah.
It's funny that that's the one thing they actually chose to keep from Duggan's Hulk run. They were like, no, he got depowered. All those other Hulk people got depowered. Yeah, that happened.
And in the latest No Surrender, he still has that power.
Yeah.
He depowered the new General.
Yes, he's a gamma vampire now. That's a new power Hulk has. He can suck the gamma out of people. I kind of like it.
All right.
Yeah.
But no, it's
for
like that.
Oh,
that's
sorry,
what was hurting. What we had that we had Uncanny Avengers. We had US Avengers. What other ones were there?
I think the Mighty Avengers was a thing for a little while.
There was the Avengers. That was the Mark Wade run, and it was like I think it was like Alex Ross painting.
It was unreadable. It was so boring, and like, who cares? I don't know. You know what they didn't give us? The New Avengers. Like the one book that made the Avengers a brand you could sell was not.
Okay, yeah, but like,
how
okay,
could
but the
they
original
not-
New Avengers by Bendis had like the best roster ever. Like
Yes!
Wolverine, Captain America,
Yeah.
Iron Man, Spider-Man.
Mm.
Like
Yeah,
it was
and
the
the
pretty
rest.
beastly roster.
Why not?
And the rest.
Like literally, they were like, "No, I'm going to put Spider-Man on a team with Vision and Thor."
No, that was the
What?
worst part about Mark Waid's Avengers, because we already had Dan Slott trying to turn Peter Parker into Tony Stark, but at least in the
Right.
Spider-Man book, he was still like half of the time Peter Parker. In
Yeah.
Mark Waid's book, he was literally like, "So I'm gonna fund the team, and I'm gonna put you in my warehouse," and
Right? Yeah,
That was short-lived.
It wasn't even interesting the way they did it. It was just, and that's the thing for me. Well, Mark Waid can't write Spider-Man. Like that's just for me. That's how I feel. Like he just can't write Spider-Man. So like anytime he's even writing not Spider-Man didn't work. But like I can't believe they were like, let's put Squirrel Girl on an Avengers team full of nobodies. But let's
It was
But let's-
fun though.
but let's not just make the new Avengers book. Like you did. It's called Defenders.
Yes.
Why? Just to tie in with the show? Like
Yes.
that
Yeah.
sucks.
That's
Yes.
exactly why
So
it was done, was
hard.
to tie
Also-
in with the show. Which it wasn't bad. Like, dude,
Hey,
the what is
that
it? The
book
Kings
was
of New
great.
York was actually a pretty solid arc.
Yeah.
No, that book
Yeah.
was fantastic. It sucks that they had to name it after the freaking show.
Yeah.
I
mean,
mean,
that would've
you know
been
what's even
cool.
worse about this Avenger setup? Uncanny, which is actually one of my favorite books. I was basically reading an X-Men book. It
Yeah.
was Rogue,
It was
Quicksilver,
the
and Deadpool.
best. It was
Yeah.
the best X-Men book for a long time, and also, hey,
It was.
don't forget the Ultimates there, which is basically just Cosmic Avengers.
Right.
Oh
Right.
yeah.
It's a good call.
But what I'm saying is, like, Uncanny basically followed Rogue, Deadpool, and Quicksilver for the most part, and like two Inhumans, which is just fucking discount of X-Men anyway. I was reading an X-Men book. I don't even like the X-Men.
I mean, I love the idea of the Unity Squad. But the Unity Squad, see, that should have been like a mini-series.
Yeah.
Like, coming out of Avengers versus X-Men, Unity Squad should have been a mini-series. I mean, it was a cool idea. It just, I mean, and that's a funny thing, because you go and you read, what was it, Rick Remender, who wrote the original Uncanny
Yeah.
X-Men, or Uncanny
Yes.
Avengers,
Yeah.
like, you go and you read that, and you get some cool moments, like Thor, like, you learn how Yarnbjorn became enchanted when he fought Apocalypse, and just stuff like that was kind of cool.
Cool idea.
But, like, by and large, it should have just kind of been a mini-series. I think, at the very least, it should have ended after All New Order for Marvel. But, no, I don't know.
I
I
don't
mean,
think
like
it
I
did,
told
because I
Sal
think
this
it
earlier.
was
Like, I
like
love
one
the
of the
idea
best-selling
of
ones.
Sam Wilson. Yeah, but I mean, but that's the problem. Is there were, I mean, there were no more ideas. Like, it was a book that was rooted out of an event that was cool, but the book's purpose had been served. There was no more basis behind it anymore. There was no more
Yeah.
reason to have it. In.
Duggan did
So-
some fun stuff with it, being like, oh, well, they were the secret strike team of Captain America, who, as we found out later, actually had his mind control, but we didn't know that till down the line, but he tried to recontextualize.
Yeah, but I mean, like,
but-
but Marvel already did that. It was called the Secret Avengers,
right.
and they were a
Oh,
Black Ops team.
Oh, yeah, there's a team we
So-
haven't had in a bit.
Yeah, no, okay. Now, see, to me, that's cool. Like, see, I told Sal about this. Like, I love the idea of Sam Wilson being Captain America. Like, put Sam Wilson in charge of the New Avengers, put Steve Rogers in charge of the Avengers, and then, like, if they face a villain that Sam Wilson's more familiar with, he takes the lead. And, like, the Avengers, New Avengers crossover. And if Steve Rogers is more familiar with it, Steve Rogers takes the lead. Like, there's a zillion ways to make that work. But no, I mean, see, I don't have a problem with there being a bunch of Avengers books. What I do have a problem is with there being a bunch of Avengers books for the sake of having a bunch of Avengers books. Like that's I mean, just because then after a while, okay, like what was it? Uncanny X-Force. Uncanny X-Force was a beastly ass story because it told a singular story. Like it was a run that told one story basically. Like traveling to the future, and the whole thing was like dealing with like Apocalypse before he becomes Apocalypse, and it had like a singular ideology, which was cool. Like things like that, I'm fine with. Like the early '90s X-Men, like X-Men Volume 2 and Uncanny X-Men. Like it basically told the story of the original X-Men team coming back, merging with the new one, and splitting off into two groups. Those aren't necessarily bad ideas. New Avengers was designed to basically soft reboot the Avengers line for like a more modern take on the characters, and like throw in characters more modern take on the team, and throw in characters that you wouldn't normally see. Like things like that aren't bad to me. That's cool. But when you have like Uncanny Avengers, which is Captain America's team, it's basically killing time until Secret Empire, and then you have those stories that don't really seem to serve, or those lines that don't really seem to serve a purpose. That's when I get disappointed. Like that's when I'm just kind of like whatever. Because Champions was basically an Avengers book.
Kimtron.
Well,
yeah, you're right, that's
It's Young Avengers and
Yeah, I was gonna say
everything,
it's
but
Young
nah.
Avengers.
It's Young Avengers, yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's not the worst thing ever. It's a matter of it's kind of stretching it thin. like stories that could be told in an Avengers book are now being told over there. So instead of saying like we have this one publication and we can tell 50 stories, it's now we have these 5 publications and we can tell 10 stories. And so it's like, all right.
Case in point, the big return of Pimtron, who is now still continuing to be a big villain in Infinity. He was in the pages of Uncanny Avengers, not Vanilla Avengers, and you would think a big villain like that should be, you know, messing with the Vanilla Avengers, but he wasn't.
Okay, but okay, as far as I'm aware, they never bridged that gap. Like you saw Pimtron in Age of Ultron. I'm sorry, not Age of Ultron. In Secret Empire, and like now, like Ultron's totally taken over, and like Hank Pym's stuck in the Soul Stone now.
Yep.
And like he has all these duplicates. It's like, okay, Marvel. So how do we get it from like A to B? Like how do we get?
I think Duggan was writing it.
Well, you know,
Rob's breaking down. There he is.
Happens to the best of us.
Oh, you're not
I'm just saying.
The bridge gap for that one was actually I know that one. So in Uncanny, Hank Pym was coming back, kind of, but he was fighting against Ultron, so they blasted him into the sun, and they pretty much treated it as in like Ultron was like going to Hank like, look, they don't care about you, so let me take over. Then he came back for Secret Empire. And now he's off after the Soul Stone.
Right.
Well, I know that they did the whole Secret Empire thing. I just don't. That story you're talking about, is that what bridges Secret Empire with the current Infinity Countdown story?
There was also some Ultron bots in Guardians of the Galaxy too near the end too, like he was foreshadowing.
What's implied is so he's kind of on Earth. But he implies in Uncanny that he's been going around making those bots that are on Earth. Those bots are in the universe setting off a bad name and tracking things for him. Right. And they're destroying whole worlds in the name of the Avengers to make the whole universe hate them. Now, I don't think we're going to get a follow-up on that, but it is stating that the bots are out there looking for things for him.
Right.
Yeah.
So he is omnipresent. He is everywhere at once.
Almost like he was during the Annihilation thing, you know?
Oh. Yeah. I can dig it.
Well, so the question is, Justice League, no justice.
Yes, which is how we started this, believe it or not.
Did it, at the end of the day, I'm going to read all of it?
Yeah.
Because it looks really cool. The only thing I'm really iffy on, is Darkseid and the Justice League. And the only reason they would let that happen is if they had a really killer idea. I hope it's. I
don't know where this came from. It was talked about in our Discord, and we were talking about this earlier. Someone mentioned that Darkseid is on the team because he's trying to fight against Yuga Khan, who has now been revived. Now I don't know if that was a rumor on the Discord or if that was actually mentioned somewhere because I couldn't find a mention of Yuga Khan.
No, that was in Hal Jordan and the Green Lanterns.
That he's hunting Yuga Khan right now.
No. That's the story that like the celestial beings, the soldiers basically of Yuga Khan, were trying to free them. We're trying to free him from like the Source Wall, and like they almost did it, but like his hand is basically free. So it's only a matter of time before he breaks out, and like so that makes perfect sense to me. I mean, I'm sure. I mean, and it wouldn't be a huge jump to like basically bridge that gap and explain like his hand was free, so it was just a matter of like wiggling himself out, you know, because you're talking about a guy who's just like super powerful, like powerful enough that Darkseid's always been afraid of him. Yeah. So,
well, Yuga Khan's his father. He's the father of all of them. The only time we've ever seen Yuga Khan, like recently, was in the Shazam thing where he got his new powers, and then Shazam was like, "And I don't exist anymore." Ha
yeah. I'm in Hellblazer. Aside from that, I'm just watching TV, watching Netflix.
Someone sees Shazam and he's just like, "Where you been?" And he's like, "I got my feet kicked up. I didn't think he needed me."
Netflix binge, man, got out of hand. Apparently, Snyder, too, was saying in a WonderCon interview that part of Justice League No Justice is that he is reviving or revisiting or creating, again, he was very vague about it, 4 amazingly powerful cosmic beings in the DC cosmology, and I'm guessing he's setting these 4 up to be the big overarching villain, and very easily one of them could be Yuga Khan.
Oh, Imperiex, bring back DC's Galactus.
The way he was talking, I'm like, okay, so Imperiex, that's got to be one. Yuga Khan's got to be another. I think maybe Starro is another one too. Who's the 4th one?
Well, okay, Starro's back, but Starro is.
He loves Starro. He is totally gonna do that though.
Yeah. Writers bring in Starro when they're just killing time. And they're like, I just need a villain, you know, just for a fun comic. Well, Starro sees control of someone. And,
Starro's so great though. He's a big space starfish who can control you.
He's a big space starfish.
Okay, I think you
Justice
said all
League's
we're going to
first
say
villain.
about
I
the No
think you're
Justice thing.
right.
But I want to move on to
Yeah.
one other topic real quick before we start closing out this episode, because we do have to close it in a little bit.
Yes.
People are saying that Newsarama just announced the Infinity Wars event. Sal, what was your reaction to, should we talk about the Infinity Wars event today when we brought it up before the podcast?
I was like, we shouldn't even give them the time of day. Like, no. Like, let's not talk about Infinity Wars, where, like, I don't know anyone who's excited about this idea or this terrible name. Or
But
like,
we're liking Countdown.
Yeah, well, only because people liked Guardians. I don't know. Whatever.
But here's
Good
my
for
question.
them.
I didn't read the article. I know you did because you guys mentioned it before the podcast, and the
Right.
chat is mentioning it. So DC, Marvel's announced the summer event, Infinity Wars. Is
Yes.
this a normal Marvel event where every book is going to shut down in June, and we're just going to have all Infinity Wars ties in?
Yes.
It is?
Yes. Well, here's the thing. They didn't say, but we know that's how it works, because that's how it always works. Yeah. of
Pattern
course.
recognition would tell us.
Yeah, like fool me once, shame on you. Fool me 1,000 times. Fool me since 2004. No.
Which is such a shame, because Infinity Countdown, it looked like they kind of learned their lesson, where it's like, no, there's just going to be countdown books. These are the ones you read. We're not going to shut down the books you're reading right now. Just follow along if you like.
Yeah, I will say
Okay.
that like it's more cosmic characters and like I don't see Captain America in this
No.
like Star Wars ripoff poster, but like, but you know.
Yeah, okay. Because, I mean, I'm looking at the chat to see if anybody got more information than we have, and they're not saying the same thing. They're all assuming that there's going to be a ton of tie-ins as well.
Of course.
Well,
How
that's
could
where
it
the
not?
money
It's
is.
called Infinity Wars, and I knew it. I knew they were gonna do this because they're like, oh no, okay, we made a movie called Infinity War, but we already made a comic called Infinity War, and if people buy that, they're gonna be really mad that it's all about Adam Warlock and the Infinity Watch.
No,
I know. We'll
that's
call it
it.
Infinity. Oh shit! There's a whole complicated event that needs to be tied in with the Secret Wars event
Yes.
that we completely shit all over after it ended. We can't do that either. We could call it Infinities.
That's not a word.
Okay, we can't call it Infinities. Infinity Wars. Whoever said that as a promotion. Oh wait, it was Bendis, and he's not here.
Damn it.
You okay,
Yeah,
Sal?
no, that's no, dude. That sounds right, man. Like Infinity, like you. I mean, you can call it Infinity Wars. I mean, that's the only option they have, because
Yeah.
I've seen a few comments. Like I was looking at the article, and there were like hipster comic reader comments who were like, "Hey, I've read about Infinity War on Wikipedia," and they're like, oh, that was, no, they shouldn't do. They're just treading all over the legacy of Infinity War. It's like, yeah, but Infinity War was not very good.
No,
Like,
it's really
It was,
boring.
it was like, that's what it was. It was like Adam Warlock is like, oh man, like my evil persona, the Magus, is back again, and like he has the Infinity Gauntlet, except he doesn't, because Thanos hid the Reality Stone, and it's like, okay. I mean, I guess I get to see other cosmic cubes from across the multiverse, which is kind of cool, but it's not that great of a story.
No, I can't wait, man. Listen, there is a Marvel shrine at the FYE at my mall. And it has Infinity War, the comic, right dead center. I'm like, oh, I hope that a bunch of people who've never read a comic book in their lives go see Infinity War, run to the FYE across the street, and buy this $30 graphic novel about the Magus. Starring Pip the Troll and nobody else.
Why don't
And
why
Moondragon.
don't they- why don't
Nobody
they just do the
knows
movie,
who
The Infinity
Moondragon is.
Gauntlet?
Right? Just have Infinity Gauntlet.
Because that's probably what they're calling the second movie, Avengers
Right.
4.
Yeah, that's right. Forgot. But, no, did they say that whatever the second name is, they don't want to say it because it'll spoil the movie?
Yeah. That's why I think
what's the? I mean,
I think it's called Avengers Disassemble.
Oh.
oh, that would be badass. Yeah, I would call it that. Yeah, dude, Avengers Disassemble. I mean, honestly, like if I were them, I would have just called this Avengers Thanos Quest. And then the next one would just be like Avengers Infinity Gauntlet or something like that. But I do like the idea of Avengers Disassembled.
Yeah.
That's cool.
They should have called it Avengers Infinity.
Yeah.
Or Infinity Gauntlet. Because we've been looking at the gauntlet since Thor.
Yeah. Oh, but that wasn't the real Gauntlet though.
I know,
as,
but like,
as we
but
found out.
Over.
they've been jerking off with the Infinity Gauntlet since 2008. Like, come on,
Oh, that
guys,
sounds painful.
let's move on. No, you got the Reality Stone. It feels great, but
You were so quick with that response.
Touche, sir. Touche.
thank you.
Can of Coke for this man.
I mean, I don't know. Like, I gotta be honest, man. I'm really excited for Infinity War because, like the one question I've been asking myself is like, what chance do the heroes have? And like, I think it's gonna end like Gauntlet. Like, I think it's all gonna come down to Nebula. I think that's gonna be what happens.
I don't
So,
think
like,
the
I'm
movie. You're right. I'm excited for the movie, not this
Yeah.
event.
But the comic Infinity
No,
Wars.
no. Nobody gives a fuck about Infinity Wars. Like, I'm talking about the
Well,
Infinity.
we're gonna
Wars.
have to because
Like,
it's gonna take up a lot of our time this summer.
okay, it is okay, guys. Here's a synopsis of Infinity Wars. Infinity War is an event that's happening. The Infinity Stones will be involved. Thanos will somehow get a hold of it somewhere along the line, and it'll basically be like a rinse and repeat of Infinity Gauntlet with a couple changes here and there, just small enough to make it different, but pretty much still recognizable. The event will end, and it'll change the comic book industry forever. Yada yada yada, so on and so forth. Welcome to Marvel Comics. It's nothing new here, folks.
Here's
it's the
what
same thing.
irritates me. So I'm prepping a whole bunch of Marvel stuff that I have enjoyed coming out over the course of April to celebrate the movie finally coming out, right? And so I'm going to get my channel all geared up to be excited for Marvel again. We're all going to be reading Marvel again. We're all going to be talking about Marvel again. And I was like, and now we got an event! Ah!
Yeah, and an event. Ho, and it's a doozy. It's gonna be completely confusing and frustrating for everybody. And yeah, no.
But what if it's
It'll be one of those that I think will read better in trade. Because here's the funny thing too. Like, even in like Infinity itself, like Jonathan Hickman's Infinity was still confusing if you read it like as it came out. You had to read it in trade afterwards. Yeah.
Oh, and
It
the
was kinda
trade has the trade collects like books that were not called Infinity that were not even related because they were so intrinsically tied to that event. No.
I mean, there were cool. There were cool things like the trade does not include things like when Supergiant gets his ass kicked by Black Panther. Like, he just shows up there and then it's like, all right, time to begin, and then like he just limps off. And Black Panther's like, yeah, man. Yeah, they don't put that in the trade, which I'm kind of disappointed about because that was a badass fight.
Yeah, but they do have the cool. They have everything from the Infinity event, which of course has a lot of Inhuman bullshit in it.
Yeah.
The only time I've ever enjoyed an Inhuman storyline is during Infinity when Black Bolt crashed New Attilan.
That was
time.
And
That
some
was
of the
awesome.
Black Ball book's pretty good.
It's literally like anything that involves Black Bolt and no one else.
Yes.
Yeah.
Maybe
Black Dwarf, not Supergiant.
Medusa
Whatever
can
it is.
come too. Like, it's literally it. Like, there's no, I don't care about.
And Miss Marvel, who I forget sometimes, is an Inhuman.
That's because they definitely were not planning on her being an
And you always say that if
I was
things
like,
were
what?
different,
She's
she would have been a mutant.
Yes.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. If it hadn't been like if Marvel wasn't trying to get rid of the X-Men and like trying to make the Inhumans popular, like she would have been a mutant. Her gene would have activated, and instead of her like whisking off to go see Miss Marvel or go to see Carol Danvers, she would have been whisked off to go see Charles Xavier, and he would have given her some speech about with great power basically comes great responsibility.
Yep. Well,
And it's like a buddy of mine, Peter Parker, once told me this, and then
she would have still been Ms. Marvel, but she would have modeled herself after Marvel Girl, aka Jean Grey.
Oh yeah.
Which
I didn't even think about that.
I kind of like her being an Inhuman.
That might be that would have
I
worked
remember
out
that,
even better than the Captain Marvel thing, because the Captain Marvel thing is so loosely tied to her.
That's only because they screwed up Captain Marvel so
They
bad.
really did.
Yeah, dude, they destroyed.
They just
the character of
reconciled
Captain
last week. Her
I
and
saw.
her ward. Yeah, it was a sweet scene.
Yeah. Now, if only they can reconcile like her character and her terrible decisions over the last 10 years.
Just let G. Willow Wilson write both, please.
I don't know.
Before we let this episode go, how do you guys feel about the Captain Marvel? Have you seen those scenes of her and Jude Law? And I am not excited for that movie at all.
No, I haven't actually.
Actually, I'm pretty hyped for the Captain Marvel movie.
Are you?
Yeah, me too.
In a green outfit?
Yeah.
I don't think Brie Larson, like in a green outfit and everything, Brie Larson does not look at me and I don't look at her and go, Captain Marvel. Now, I will say, I was the one that said Gal Gadot doesn't look like Wonder Woman, but once she put the costume on, I was on board with it. So I was holding my opinions on Brie Larson until I saw her in the costume. But no, I'm not digging it.
I think she'll become the Captain Marvel that people want her to be at the end of the movie.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. I'm hyped. Coulson's coming back.
Yeah.
And Ronan the Accuser.
And Tantalab.
Yeah.
You can fix him now.
Yeah, you can actually make a character out of him.
And then he can be like,
Yeah.
oh, you know what? Like at the end of the movie, he can be like, you know what? Having a personality and being interesting is actually not for me. I'm going to be really boring.
I just hate those Xandarians so much.
And you'll destroy Xandar for me.
I have a hammer.
So
Look at my
crappy.
big hammer.
He's so crappy. He's not Whiplash, but he's not
No.
great. But you know what? At least Whiplash looks like he's having a good time.
Whiplash had a couple good scenes at least. Yeah.
He gets, oh my god, he has the bird. Well, you want a bird? I can get you 10 birds. But that's
Like
Sam
butter.
Rockwell. Listen, I love Iron Man 2. Sam Rockwell's the best. Anyway, moving on.
Yeah. Okay, so here's my question: is Jude Law playing Jan Rog? Who's he playing in Captain
He's
Marvel?
Marvel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
This is supposed to be like.
I didn't know who he was playing.
From what
Look,
I understand, this is a prequel, like taking place in the 70s or the 80s or the 90s. It's like way
No, it
before
takes
all
place
this.
in the 90s.
You named 3 decades.
I know. During those 3 decades, it's taking place. The
It
question
takes
is,
place somewhere over the span of 30 years.
but why? But why are they doing that? Is my question. Because now you're basically stating that the world is in awe at all these superheroes. By the way, we've had one the whole time.
Yeah, she was in space the whole time. We missed it. We didn't get to see it.
Yeah.
Is that what we're? That's the
I mean,
excuse.
dude,
Yeah.
there's actually a lot of ways you could pull that off. Remember, like Carol Danvers was an Air Force pilot before she was a superhero, and she was working in like Cape Canaveral. So I mean, there's a lot of things that you could kind of wipe under the radar. And like, I mean, they can just chalk it up to the line from Captain America: The Winter Soldier, where Nick Fury compartmentalized everything.
Yeah.
So I mean,
Or-
there's a ton of ways they could keep it hidden.
It actually ties directly in with the line that Nick Fury has in the post-credit scene
Yes.
of Iron Man 1, where he goes, "You think you're the only superhero in the world? There was one 10 years ago, and she fought the Kree. The end." I mean, like,
And she
And there was
fought-
a dude back in World War II.
yeah, I mean, like, you could end the movie with her being like cocooned in a Kree, whatever the hell, or
Oh,
she helps join like whatever with the Ravagers. You can bring Sylvester Stallone in, like,
Oh,
you can do
please
all
do.
kinds of stuff with that. Where she's like, I mean, like. Peter Quill is the freaking spaceship. He can come to Earth anytime he wants to and get a freaking iPod, and he doesn't. Like, this is
Yeah.
the first time he's been on Earth in 30 years, and he's been flying around the entire galaxy. Like, come on. You could have Captain Marvel kicking around the galaxy.
I would
too.
have laughed so hard if at the end of the movie was it a Zune? Yeah, they didn't give him a Zune, did
It's
they?
soon. It's
Okay, it is
It's
a
a
Zune.
Zune.
I was just thinking about it, like, wouldn't it be funny if they gave him a Zune? No, they did give him a Zune, and it was funny.
yeah, and it was
That was
funny.
the joke.
Yeah, it's a great joke. It's a soon. All the people on Earth are using him. Host 300 songs.
Which thankfully that Zune owner had a good taste in music, right? Because I'm trying to think, what were people listening?
crappy. It's not
Yeah,
just like
'cause-
it's not just Evanescence.
Yeah, I'm trying to think, what were people listening to in 2008 that could have been on there?
Yeah, I don't know. Probably Evanescence and Linkin Park.
There you go. He's like, yeah, this sucks.
So, all right.
And like
Real
Maroon
feelings.
5. I don't
We
know.
are going to close up the show a little bit early today, guys. It's about 15 minutes earlier than usual. I got some things I got to knock out tonight. Rob was saying that he's got better things to do than talk about Captain Marvel.
Basically.
But no, seriously, all jokes aside, thank you guys
Yeah.
for being here with us today. The next time
Yes.
we'll be live will be on Sunday. There will be no show on Thursday because Benny scheduled stuff 6 months out and we weren't doing Thursday shows then. But if you want to see Sal watch all of Supernatural and Benny and Sal talk about it every week, shoot me tweets. And I'll even make it like a goal. I'm gonna get a change.org petition to get Sal to watch
Those work really
Supernatural
well.
from beginning to end.
It'll be
3
the
episodes
first
a
time
week
one
and
of
we
those
talk about
worked.
it.
Mm-hmm.
You don't think that'd be fun?
I saw no, but we'll see how it goes. I'm looking forward to seeing what the reaction.
And we'll also have another show, which is Rob watching 3 episodes of Doctor Who a week.
Oh.
Nope.
No.
From the very beginning or from like the Eccleston era onward?
Eccleston
Where does he
era
have
on.
to
You can't go
start?
back to the black and white era.
Yeah,
It's
you gotta
rough.
go to the radio serials.
Some of it's not even there. Some of it doesn't even exist if you're binge watching it.
We'll start a GoFundMe to buy you all the seasons, Sal.
I'm sure it's on Hulu or something.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining us today. We will see you next time right here at the Weekly Poll. Next Tuesday is not an episode. There will be a movie time with the Comicstorian patrons. The week after that will be another episode. Hopefully, more stuff has happened in the world of comic books. Probably a lot of Infinity War hype. Or
doubt.
Infinity Wars hype, Rob?
It's going to
Yeah,
be
sure.
really annoying to have to make the differentiate between those two.